Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. I've had questions about from people about what is a mule? Now, a mule is an interesting name for a particular style of printing, I guess you could say. Well, style isn't quite right. Let's put it this way. Okay, what is a mule for real? A mule is when you take a horse and a donkey and you put them together and you get a mule. You get two things that aren't supposed to go together being put together and making something else. That's a mule. How does that relate to currency? Well, in the printing process for currency, the first thing they do is print the back plate. Okay, that's step one. So now imagine a whole stack of pages, all with only the back plates printed. The back of every note looks essentially the same and has since 1935. So there's nothing unusual about this. They can actually print as many of these as they want. Now these back plates, here are the plate numbers right here on the bottom. They are numbered, and even though there aren't very many changes at all, the back plates are still designed for a specific series. Okay. Then you get to the front plate. The front plate has the picture of George, and it has the actual series number, and that's the second printing. From there you get the third printing, which adds the serial numbers and the seals. But we just want to talk about the first print, this, and the second print. Okay. Now it's clear which series the second print was from because it says right on there. This one's series of 2017. However, the back plate, not so much. It just has a plate number. It is quite possible that this is a series 2013 back plate that they put on a 2017 note, thus giving you something from 2017 on the front, something from 2013 on the back. Two things that aren't supposed to go together. When you have that bill then becomes a mule. How do you identify mules? Well, unless you know, basically the only way to do it is to check the actual print runs and see at what plate they switched over. So you'd have to have a chart that tells you any note from this number so on down the line is a mule. It's pretty much the only way you're going to find it. You're not just going to randomly go, oh, is this a mule? Oh, yeah, that's a mule. Unless you know the plate numbers to look for. Where do you find those? Well, most guidebooks will tell you all that information, and we'll get to that a little bit later. All right, let's slide this stuff out of the way. What did I find this week? Found some interesting stuff. Let's take a peek. Found me a Where's George. That's a new kind of seal. I don't remember seeing that one, so I will definitely log it, see where it's been. This one looks like a trinary, 1s, 2s, and 5s, but it's actually an alternator. The 5 is every other digit. 1, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5. So that's kind of cool, something I don't see very often. Here's a birthday note, 1933, March 14th. Another birthday note, 2008, the 28th of June. And this is a trinary, 0s, 9s, and 6s, but this one's also a rotator. You can see every single digit here. That's clearly a 6, clearly a 9, clearly a 0. But if I rotate it, it's still clearly a 0, clearly a 6, and clearly a 9. So this note can be read upside down. Now, for it to be a true rotator, you would want it to actually say the numbers the same way. So you can see how this starts 696. If it started 696 when you looked at it upside down, then you're talking a possible true rotator. So those are the ones that are worth the most when they read the same way in each direction, even when you flip them over. That's the true inspiration of a rotator. The rest of them are just, notes like this are neat to find, but not necessarily any additional value. If you had one that read the same both right side up and upside down, that's when you get the additional value. All right, another trinary here, zeros, ones, and eights. This is twos, threes, and eights, and this one's got 5 eights on it. That's quite a find. Twos, threes, and fives on this one. Ones, sixes, and nines. This is not a rotator. You can see the one. You would think a one would just be a line straight up and down and that would rotate, but it doesn't, because the top of the one has the little serif there and the bottom has the entire bottom. So not a rotator. Still a trinary. All right, some quads, quad twos, quad fours with a fifth, quad fives with a fifth, also a trinary, fives, eights, and nines, quad sevens, quad eights, quad eights with a fifth, also a trinary, zeros, twos, and eights, another quad eight, quad nine, and some stars. This is dirt, not a printing error. You're not gonna get away with that with me. No, this is just dirt, not a printing error. Checking my stars to make sure that they are not filled in. 2017, starting with a couple zeros, so that always gets me excited. Here's another one, 2017, starting with 3 zeros. So now we're getting into territory where you're talking about lower numbers. If this is just read as a number, that's 84,911. Which is a fairly low number. Generally speaking, you want something that's only 4 digits. Once it gets down to 3 digits, now you're talking about something that could be worth $100 or so. 2017 star, and that's just a counter stamp. 2017, another 2017 with the wedding transfer, no additional value there. 2013, just dirt. Another 2013, this is a 2013B, so possibly one of the repeated printed notes. Then we jump all the way to 1988A. 1988A, not a web note, that's too bad, but it is a star. So finding a star from 88A, that's pretty cool. That's something you just don't see too often. For my older notes, here's a 1999, pretty rough shape. 99, slightly better shape. Another 99, and as much as I'd love to call that, what would that be? A solvent smear. Odds are it was just a heavy print and a raindrop got on it and somebody did one of these. So I wouldn't even call that a solvent smear. Let's see, 1995. Another 95, not a web note. 1995, also not a web note. 1988A, not a web note. And the oldest note I found, this is a 1963. Not in the greatest of shape, but it is the first year that $1 bills were produced from the Federal Reserve. So that's always cool to find, 1963. All right, what did I pull out this week? Well, this week I was able to get this off of eBay, and I thought this was incredibly cool. I don't have very many of these at all. What this is, we'll look right here, a series of 1934 star note. Check out the serial number, 000-67898. So it starts off with 3 zeros. Once again, if we were to read that as a number, now you're talking number 67,898. So a fairly low number. Not low, not being worth any more because of that, but it is worth more because it's a star. Now, you'll notice the stars are filled. They were all solid stars at that particular time. They did make 2 different types of notes in 1934. They made a light green seal and a dark green seal. This one was labeled as a light green. It's actually the dark green. So I was kind of bummed out about that. But that's okay. Overall, you can see there is no motto on the back there. A little bit of dirt. This note has been handled, of course. But once again, it's a $20 bill from 1934, and it's a star note. It's something that I just don't see very often. So let's take a peek at the book and see what the book has to say. The book. All right, what do we got? You can see right here, 1934, there's the 2 different color seals. The light green versus the dark green. And where is it? If I bring this up here so that you can see, you can match the color yourself and see this one is the dark green seal. Right, okay. So dark green seal from Minneapolis. That's going to bring us over on this side. Here we go. Notes with the darker and duller blue-green seal. And from Minneapolis, it would be right here with the I. It is number 2054A. And in VF20 is about $125. Now, I got this for less than half of that. Now, mine probably isn't a 20, but it's still a star note from 1934, and it's just something that I don't see too often, so I wanted to scoop it up because I don't have many. I don't have many at all. Now, one of the other things, though, is when you look at the book, you can see all those red M's. Those are all mules. And it tells you right here, mules have the reverse check number of 318 and above. So that is where you'd find it on this particular one. You can see it here, and you can see it, wherever else they've got it listed. So that's how I determine whether or not a note is a mule, based on what the guidebook says. And that's also the explanation for what a mule is. So that's what I've got for you guys this week. My 1934 Minneapolis star note. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next time.